Last year, UFC boss Dana White had stated, "We'll never be in business together." The target of his outburst. Former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. The Predator had exited the promotion in 2023 after being unable to come to terms with the UFC over a new contract. The result? Ngannou headed out to pursue fights in boxing and signed with the PFL. Now, Erick Nicksick, Ngannou's coach, believes that the Cameroonian might be open to making a return to the promotion. In a recent conversation with Home of Fight, Nicksick shared, "I would love to see somehow, some way that they can mend these fences and get back in competing in the UFC." So, will Dana White let bygones be bygone and extend an olive branch? That's the question echoing through the MMA sphere. The conversation surrounding Dana White and Francis Ngannou coming to terms ignited a debate that began when a fan named Neil Bradley dropped this zinger on X. "The only thing more perpetual than a UFC contract is Dana's ability to hold a grudge. It will outlast the heat death of the universe." That's when MMA business expert Jon Nash stepped in with a little reality check. "Sure, White can hold a grudge," he began, "but he also seems capable of forgetting said grudge when there is money to be made." Then came the receipts. Nash reminded fans that Dana White once vowed to blacklist any fighter who signed with EA Sports. Guess what? That didn't last. Nor did his refusal to ever put Kimbo Slice in the octagon or his feud with Tito Ortiz, for that matter. Another user chimed in with a counter, "All that happened when the Fertittas were calling the shots." Nash's counter. He fired back with, "Sure, but the new ownership is even more mercenary. One of the first things they did was sign off on McGregor fighting Mayweather." The message: if the money's right, history rewrites itself. That might be exactly what Francis Ngannou is hoping for. After his boxing fights against Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua and a relatively quiet stretch in the PFL, his coach Erick Nicksick believes the UFC comeback trail is still there. Just overgrown. According to Nicksick, "I think Dana is a smart enough businessman that it's not about his ego. It's about what's best for his company. And I think that a guy like Dana is level-headed enough to say, like, look, the past is the past and we can get through those things if these things can work out for us in the future. Why not?" After all, Francis Ngannou has already proved his worth in boxing and MMA, reportedly cashing close to $40 million along the way. And that's precisely why the UFC might need Ngannou more than they're willing to admit. With Jon Jones still on the shelf and Tom Aspinall's interim reign stretching indefinitely, the heavyweight division has lost its thunder. Ngannou isn't just another name on the roster. He's a proven draw, a knockout artist, and a former champ who walked away without losing his belt. If Dana White truly wants to reignite the division and boost pay-per-view numbers, bringing Francis back into the fold might be less about swallowing pride and more about smart business. In fact, even Jon Jones couldn't help but chime in at the prospect of the Predator returning to the octagon, while the heavyweight division remains stuck in limbo. With Tom Aspinall clutching an interim belt and waiting for answers, Jon Jones has his eyes set elsewhere. Forget unification. For Bones, the real crown lies in a long, lost chapter, a showdown with Francis Ngannou. When news emerged that the Predator might be open to negotiation, a return to the UFC, Jones took to X and wrote, "I'm hearing Francis Ngannou is still interested, now we're talking." That's a real super fight. A clash of champions, not just hype. He held the UFC belt, I've defended mine for over a decade. Two kings from different roads. Not just one legend facing a mouth that's hot right now, but two real legacies colliding. That's the kind of fight that actually adds something special to my story. It's no secret that Jones vs. Ngannou was once the biggest what if in UFC history. But when Ngannou left the promotion in 2023, the moment vanished. As such, this wasn't just a call-out, it was a mission statement. Jones sees Ngannou not as a rival but as a legacy fight. A collision of titans that would define eras, not just settle rankings. So, where does that leave us? The pieces are falling into place. Francis Ngannou wants back in. Jon Jones wants the fight. And the UFC? Well, history shows that when the stakes are high and the money's right, even Dana White's grudges can melt like ice under fire. With the division in a standstill and fans hungry for a true heavyweight spectacle, the timing couldn't be better. So, will pride take a back seat to profit? Or will this chapter remain another entry in MMA's book of missed opportunities? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.